Yeah. So yeah, big news in the world this month.
Indeed. Mm.
We just had the bushfires. They were fucking massive news. And now,
Forgotten. The weather's changed.
yeah, there's a new fire burning in the hearts of men.
Yeah, and that's a new beast. That's for sure.
COVID-19.
Yeah. Well, my place closed today, so
Did it? I was going to ask you about this. I didn't want to ask you anything off the air. So what's happened with your business?
Yeah, well, I'm in hospitality, chef, as you know, and like as of midday today, it was by law all venues had to shut. We're allowed to open for takeaway, which isn't something we did before. So that's something we've applied for, obviously previously, and we're waiting on it for this week. But a few jobs rely on it, and we're all a bit confused about what's going on. So
you're not going to be going back to work anytime soon?
Well, I'm lucky enough that I have a position.
Oh yeah, I think it's not a job you can do from home, is it? No, you have to go to the kitchen. Yeah,
no, but I'm by myself in there, so it's kind of isolation in itself.
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, so it is what it is at the moment, and it might change tomorrow. It might change the next day. I'm not quite sure.
And you said your menu is not really great for takeaway food. It's better for eating fresh and hot.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've got an awesome pizza section. We do wood-fired pizzas. Got a couple of Brazilian guys that do that, and like obviously not a couple now, but that's great. That's good for takeaway. But the rest of the menu, it's more like a bar. So there's a lot of like deep fried chips and stuff like that going around. Yeah. There's a few things on there for sure. And we've made a new menu. We've made a new menu that is appropriate for takeaway based on what we've got and adding a couple of things. So
yeah, well done.
So yeah.
So, but I'm just looking. I've got the television playing. I woke up at 11 p.m. yesterday morning because my bad sleeping habits.
p.m. Yes.
Yeah. So it's currently 3 minutes to 12 the following day. So I've been awake for 25 hours in about 2 minutes.
Yeah. Wow.
So, but I've also got the flu. I didn't do that.
You've got the flu, did you say?
Yeah, but I had it. I had a bit of. I'll tell you what it was. My immune system broke down because I went and had a big night drinking with Cameron the other night when he was doing some presentation for a short film festival and stuff. Yeah, and then I went and just kept drinking all night. And it was fucking. My immune system broke down the next day, and the next couple of days.
So you've got an extended hangover.
Yeah, and then I went and hung out with my nieces who are 3 and 5, and they're all coughing and sneezing and sniffing.
Oh, fantastic!
But I don't think the COVID-19 virus really affects children in terms of like it doesn't show up in there's an illness. It just they carry it.
Yeah.
And so
I don't know, man. I've heard young fit people can get sick. I've heard quite a few things, man.
But the death rate is highest in 85 plus, like 25% death rate or something.
But I think the scariest thing isn't it the overall death rate is quite a high percentage of the infected.
I've never really quite understood.
I think that's what makes it like hectic.
It's very infectious. You can infect 3 people.
It's very infectious as well.
Easily. Instead of a flu, which normally infect 1.25 or something people.
Yeah.
But this is more virulent, or like, what do you say? It's more infectious. It's highly infectious.
Highly infectious.
So you get one person on a cruise ship with the illness.
The entire place is going
surface, and then they scratch their nose or something, and it just crawls in. I don't know. The washing of their hands stuff? What's the deal with that? If I'm scratching my face or rubbing my nose or something, is it crawling up or like?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to get to my lungs. How is it getting? Is it like a little squidgy worm thing that's crawling up through my face and into my lungs? What the fuck's going on?
It's just got to get inside you, but you know what? And the whole thing, it's made me wary of touching my face because you do it. Everyone does it. Well, most people do. Some people pretend not to, but most people do. And what I've noticed is all the people wearing masks are constantly touching their face. Next time you're walking down the street, just stare at the person don't stare at the person with the mask, but just try and notice them out of the corner of your eye. And I guarantee you they'll be going, they'll be fiddling with it and touching the sides.
I've been sort of stuck at home for the last week or so without leaving the house at all. And then this morning, I thought, fuck, I better stock up because I've been watching documentaries about the 1918 Spanish flu and all the deaths and the dumping of
Spanish
bodies in
flu.
mass graves and everything. It was fucking 10% of the
Yeah.
population
10%
was
of the
just
population.
died or
I
something.
heard an interesting fact the other day about that, which I'm not sure is true. I just heard it. But apparently the reason it was the Spanish flu was that everyone had it, and especially all the soldiers, because it was World War One, 1918, and so they were all carrying it and taking it all around the world and all dying and stuff. And but the Spanish were neutral, so they were the only ones actually registering the deaths, because none of the other countries wanted to see them weak or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. So the newspapers were actually showing what was going on with that, but the war was the most important thing in other places.
Yeah.
So they had to make it seem uplifting and also recruit more soldiers as well. So
Sure, and like that, then just because the Spanish were neutral and they were all dying, they registered the normal amount of deaths, which other people didn't, and so everyone's like, Spanish flu.
And I think it appeared in the newspapers in Spain first, and they were the first people to
Something like that. Yeah, but I don't think it came from.
it.
I don't think it. I don't. I think I'm not sure they know where it came
Originated in
from,
Spain.
but I don't.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they. I don't
Probably
think
came from a wet market in China.
Chances are. Ooh.
I think they just take wild animals, anything they can find, they club it over the head or just keep it alive.
Yeah,
They're
I don't know.
breeding,
Like,
they're just finding, aren't they?
it does. It is an easy thing to blame it on, like though, for sure. Yeah,
It's come from a bat, hasn't it? A bat mixed with
yeah.
sort of
I'm not sure. I've heard a couple of things. I'm sure that they cancelled out like swine and fluvian, so the birds and shit. I'm pretty sure that they it's avian, fluvian. What's fluvian? What's fluvian? Avian.
I was wondering what that was. It sounds like a bird that sneezes a lot or something.
Well, that's how it starts. Sneezing bird.
And the other thing that I wonder about, like, okay, so a sneeze, I can imagine all the snot particles flying out pretty fast, right? But a cough, what is a cough? What is happening when you cough? Isn't it like putting your lips together and doing that? It's not really putting more stuff from your lungs out and breathing, is it?
Yeah, it would have to be. You can feel it in your throat, man.
Yeah, no, but let me ask you this. You're a smoker, right? I can demonstrate this right now. If I exhale like that, that's traveling far further than a cough. And I'll demonstrate. The cough is just going to puff around my face and it's not going to travel that far.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be all about the puff. There'd be inner projectiles that have gone bang all the way out.
Coughing, unless you cough a lug of something.
It depends. There's different kinds of coughs. There's
a dry cough.
Yeah.
One of the symptoms of this is a dry cough. So why is that spreading it more than breathing? So you'd think that therefore breathing is going to infect somebody, but they never talk about that. They
maybe the bacteria particle isn't just in your breath, like it needs to be in the cough, which comes out of your lungs, like or out of your throat. You know, like with a bit more wetness to it.
If it's so tiny and it floats around on your air, wouldn't that just be floating around in your
everywhere
breath?
Anyway? Yeah, well, that's what
like when you smell a fart, you're inhaling molecules of somebody else's shit, right? That's what's happening.
That's poo particles.
Poo particles.
Yeah.
And this, so your asshole doesn't have to sneeze necessarily. A hardcore sneeze, it can just like leak out, right? Like your breath.
But at the same time, but when you cough, maybe when you do a fart where the poo comes out into the undies as well, maybe that's the equivalent of the cough, as opposed to breathing. The fart's just like breathing. I don't think
a cough is that wet. I think a sneeze is wet.
Can be. Cough. What do you mean? It depends on what's in your mouth.
A cough is more like a meep. It's not a.
That's because you've always got a dry throat because you smoke so much.
Oh, because I'm just used to dry coughing so much.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, dry coughing though is said to be a symptom of this particular illness, and I just can't imagine that coughing is going to put out dryness. I'm going to demonstrate right now. I'm going to cough. Okay. That was pretty fun.
That's a hideous cough. That's disgusting.
That was a genuine cough. Okay, now I'm going. I just probably give my double chin and everything.
Carry on.
Now I'm going to exhale within this stream. Yeah, I think I got quite far.
I'm not sure whether you can just call vaping smoke the same as the coronavirus. I don't think they're in the same category.
I'm just demonstrating how air leaves the face hole in a
yeah. I know.
It's further. I can like if smoke is not a good indicator, then why do they use that in slipstream wind design?
When you breathe out and you've got vaping coming out at the same time, does that kill the coronavirus?
I'm hoping that this is killing the coronavirus with every inhale. I'm probably killing. I don't know. Or it could be feeding it. This is like vanilla custard.
Comes out and just turns around and laughs at you.
The coronavirus is loving it. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna live here forever.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the subject of death. Okay.
So soon.
Now, we go back to the coronavirus and all the shit that's happening in the world, but if we're talking about the lifespan of a human, right? People talk about like Ray Kurzweil. He's a futurist who talks about wanting to live forever, and he says that I think it's 2042 there'll be a singularity where machines will be as intelligent as humans, and after that, we're pets.
We're gone. Yeah.
If they want us around, and then we'll be
according to him,
it's just like they're going to construct something and then fucking bulldoze that shit, and they're not going to worry about whatever's the way, including us, right? Unless they think we're useful as batteries, for example. But like, if we want to go forward with these machines, we need to become part machine at least, right? Cybernetic.
Surely that's the next step, though. That'll happen before the
there's two simultaneous way we can continue lifespans even more than we've already got them, right? Because I think in the old days, in the early 1900s, I think the average age of life expectancy is 42 or something, which is how old I am right now.
But
dead, old man.
But in the old days, does that always? Because that always counts, like, because there was a lot more child death.
Yeah,
and does that average, like, does that just ruin the average?
It could, I think it could, but I don't think there were as many 90-year-olds, walking around in those days.
But even if there were like,
there could be
80-year-olds rather than heaps of 90-year-olds.
Yeah.
Which isn't a crazy amount of difference. Like if you live now to your mid-80s, like you've had a good run, right?
Not anymore.
Oh, I think mid-80s to 90 is that's
90s is expected, isn't it?
I'm not quite sure. I don't.
Well, natural cause death, like for example, the fraying of the ends of your DNA strands, whatever that's called, with each replication every 7 years, whatever fucking happens, right?
Sure.
And you just degrade and you don't replicate as nicely as you once were, right?
Yeah.
That's natural aging and degradation. And there are certain animals, like certain jellyfish and tapeworms or something, that just don't fail to replicate perfectly every single time, and they are immortal until they get eaten.
Yeah. I've heard about the jellyfish one. Yeah.
And so
all the chicks put it in their skin cream.
I think they put bee sting venom as well.
They grind up the jellyfish and put it in there because jellyfish can live forever. So therefore, if you grind up the jellyfish,
eternal,
it gives you eternal goodness or lifeness. Or
women put heaps of different animals crushed up and shit all over them. Like
all the crustaceans.
Nail polish is basically made out of crushed up bugs, isn't it?
Shellac. Sure. I don't.
It comes from imagine a little cute little ladybird. Smudge that up.
Smash it.
Some nice.
You'd probably need like at least 30 or 40 per nail, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah, probably.
So you'd
need like a machine doesn't.
You'd probably need a net. You'd need a big net. You could scoop them up.
I think it's just a big vacuum cleaner.
And you know what? You wouldn't want to squash them at this point because you've got heaps of chicks in the shop at once. You probably need a blender.
Yeah, they're all getting sucked in.
Scoop them all up.
like the male chicks at a hatchery. Like, whose job is it at a hatchery? And they're just going male, female.
Yeah.
You can survive to be enslaved as an egg layer in a cage all your life like this. Clip your wings.
The rest,
and shit.
What the other dog food?
They're going. They're going to chicken McNuggets.
Oh, chicken nuggets.
Down the blender hole. There's a little fucking thing, and they just disappear down the hole. Little babies.
That's why you get the little yellow fluffy hairs in your teeth.
Yeah. Anyway, so
you
Jeff,
don't.
Right?
I've never had yellow fluffy hair in my teeth ever.
Yeah, they blend it really well with the.
They do not throw the baby chickens in the chicken nugget mix. Come on, that's a lie.
There's footage of that. Haven't you seen Earthlings?
No. Chicken nuggets pop out. Chicken nuggets pop out the bottom.
You got to add some batter.
And baby chickens.
But think about this. There's nothing you can't just basically smooch up and turn into powder, right?
Yeah, no, that's right. Or paste.
Paste is a bit water added to powder.
Paste. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I could even chuck this this keyboard in a fucking blender, right?
Make some
Mix it
skin
with some
cream.
flour and some apple and just all the core and the pips and some
Yeah.
baby chicks and shit.
Yeah.
Just make a nugget for you. Here, eat this. Bit
Breakfast
plasticky,
bars.
but at least you got some
Breakfast
chicken or
bars.
something, right?
Yeah.
You can turn lots
Chicken
of things
salt.
into powder. That's how we get like aspartame and stuff, which I love, which is what is in this drink and making me not as fat as I otherwise would be.
Apparently, your body says different.
The thing is, with immortality, right? Imagine that you decide.
I know about
opt,
immortality.
I don't want to die. Okay, and so you sign up for the program.
Yeah.
The immortality program, and what they're going to do is they're going to take your brain and transfer it, so you don't have to worry about this fucking mortal envelope that's made out of meat.
Well, that's the goal.
That's going to die. You don't want to worry about that anymore. So you go into the little microchip, right? You're now only that big, or like a couple of lines of code or whatever your brain was, but they never transfer you because you didn't have enough money in your bank account to complete the transfer into the robotic new body you were supposed to get, and then humanity dies out before they even get a chance. They lost you anyway. You're in a briefcase of thousands of people who decided to opt into that program.
You couldn't possibly have a living memory while you're in the microchip.
No, because it's got a solar panel on the top of the briefcase or whatever it is, and it never gets washed away. And so you're
what if it's
there.
What if it's a nuclear winter and the sky's blacked out?
That's what you need. That's what you'd want, because I'll tell you why. Because you're wide awake, waiting to be transferred, but you've got no vision, no ears, no mouth, no arms. All you are is thinking. You got no one to talk to. You can't hear anything.
Yeah.
And you're stuck there. And as long as that solar panel still gets light or whatever else.
What if it's a nuclear winter? What happens if
you're stuck there? Yeah, well, the nuclear winter is what you'd be praying for. You'd be saying, I hope the world is, because there's no way to kill yourself. There's no way to die. You're just stuck here in the black infinity of nothingness with no hearing, sight, vision. You're paralyzed, but you haven't got a body anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Are you trying to convince me, or is this some kind of torture?
Oh, this has gone wrong, right? This is if immortality went like wrong in the transfer process, right?
Yeah.
And then you're stuck there.
You'd never get dug up.
Just imagine like the humanity dies out or has an Armageddon or whatever. But you got the microchip and you're safe in this briefcase or in this tower that doesn't collapse or something, or somewhere that's exposed to lots of light and it doesn't erode or degrade or something because it's made out of AI made you.
The Earth folds over.
Maybe the AI built a really good tower out of, obsidian or some shit that they mined from asteroids, fueled by helium.
No, but what about if it was a nuclear winter and the whole and climate change went crazy?
But that's what you want, because otherwise you're stuck there for billions of years until the sun eats the Earth and you melt out of existence.
Are you saying, do you want to stay for that, or you don't?
No. I don't want to be immortal in that way and stuck in a microchip, because what could happen? Because even the prospect of in the future advertisements being pushed into our brains, with whatever technology they come with, eat Cadbury.
But do you reckon there's no way if you put in a microchip that you'd have a conscience sitting there? You'd be asleep of some sort. You'd need to be woken up. I don't know.
If there's power going to it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, this is the transfer process. Your brain is now in this thing. And have you seen Black Mirror? In a lot of these fantasies, it's like Twilight Zone, but nightmarish, futuristic shit.
Yeah.
These people, like this one woman, she's a copy of that woman's mind, right? And she's put into an Alexa or a Google Home or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And she is basically a slave. She has to do whatever that woman wants. And because she's her, she'll know what she wants before she does it. In the morning, I like my toast with this, blah, blah, blah. I want the kettle to be on at this time. This is music I like to go to sleep to, blah, blah, blah. And so the organizer, the guy who's looking down at her through the little eye hole in the Alexa, she's seeing out of it, right? She just got buttons in front of her and it's all white infinity around her. There's nothing else, just that and her.
Yeah.
Right? In a white cloth that she can't get out of and she can't do anything except press the buttons. And he says, okay, now you know what she wants in the morning? Get her this. It's like, wait, where am I? What is going on? There's no time for that. Just shut up and do as I say, right? He doesn't give a fuck. And she says, no, I'm not going to do it. She's really distraught about this whole situation, right? Because she's now a slave in a fucking machine this big and looking up saying, I want to be free. Let me out of here. You're not ever getting out. All right? This is what's going to happen. You're going to do what is required, what she asks for, and you're going to know and intuitively give her what she wants. I refuse to do it. All right. well, how would 20 years of isolation feel? And he goes, "Zzz," and then like 3 seconds later, he goes,
Well,
"All right, that's
hang on. Oh, that just
3
fully
seconds.
that just fully cut out for like about 20 seconds. I couldn't hear.
I was still seeing you. 3 seconds for him is like 20 years for her.
Yeah.
She's like, oh my God. She was like, alone with no one to talk to or anything for 20 years.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, please don't leave me, don't leave me. And she said, well, you're going to do it as I say? No, I would never do it. Like, how would 200 years feel? Right? And he just, 3 seconds later for him, like 200 years. And she hasn't aged or anything. She can't escape. She can't kill herself. There's nothing she can do. She's stuck there with these buttons and nothing else.
200 years.
It's just 2,000 years at one point to punish her even more. And then she finally submits and goes, anything you say, right?
Yeah.
That's fucking, like, so being immortal has a risk of not being able to escape from life.
Yeah. Yes.
But you'd want to be able to turn it off. You need to be able to die when you want.
When you want
right?
it. Yeah, when you want it.
Otherwise, what would happen? If you're alone in this blackness, the best you can do is hope for insanity, or eventually, hopefully, insanity would just come. In your mind, you would invent little branches, all the little strands and leaves, microscopic universe, the big universe, and everything else. And hopefully, at the end, you turn yourself into a snail, into a person, two people talking to each other, whatever, except don't remember who I am. And potentially, that's what we're in now, because God is one of those things in the microchip, and he's just gone crazy, and we're just him talking to ourselves. That's the most likely scenario for reality.
That's fairly likely.
Sorry. Anyway, coronavirus is part of the program. He's fucking going, right?
Well, we've definitely got a lot of time.
And we're worshipping ourselves, praying, please give us more rain or some shit. And I'm like, yeah. I like pain and suffering more. But the thing is, if we did wake up, if you and I went, let's just remember that we are one and we're God now. Let's just remember that.
Yeah.
And you go, and you pop back into, oh my God, that was all fiction it was just a dream, right? You wake up, all of the universe, and from the Big Bang and everything else that followed, all the way up to this conversation, we just fucking ruined it, but that's good, but bad, right? Because we remembered, but now we're like looking for a way to escape. No, I've got to get out of here. But you've got no one to talk to. You've got nowhere to look.
Sounds like the most horrible.
Eternity sucks, man.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No. Turning into stardust. That's the way to go. When we're good and ready.
I prefer to burn in hell. After a while, you'd be, good morning, Gerald. Good morning, Paul. Right? Like, you ready? He'd be like, you ready? He's like, yeah, go on. Start prodding. He's got this pitchfork. He's going like that at me. And I'm on fire and stuff. And I'm just like, hey, Tom, how you going today? You well? What are you up to? Oh, can't complain. He's been prodded as well. It's like 2,000 years of prodding. You get used to it, right? You just get someone to talk to, right? Everyone's screaming and shit in the beginning. The newbies, they don't know what they're doing, right? And they're just not used to it yet. After a while, you just learn to tolerate that shit.
Yeah,
You're being dissected and shit. It's like, I can't complain. Have a good day.
Lucky I don't believe in heaven and hell. Far out.
We don't need to believe. We don't even know what's going on. Nobody even knows what's going on.
Nobody knows
You're not allowed to go to church anymore. People aren't allowed to go to church or synagogues or anything anymore.
I don't know how they're going to survive.
Because you can't collate and spread the infection. So people might lose their faith, hopefully.
What happens if you miss 2 weeks in a row?
Well, hell, I think, is the penalty for that. No. Permanent damnation.
Damn. Sounds
exactly.
Damned.
So, coronavirus. This is a big thing. This has caused economic downturn. 1 million people became unemployed yesterday, didn't they?
It's incredible, mate. Yeah, I don't even know the numbers, man. It's all confusing to me.
4 million school children in Australia. I'm talking about Australia. 4 million school children in Australia. They are probably not going to be going to school. Victoria has just.
It's all cut here. All schools cut here.
Oh, really? So it's stopped.
No kids. I believe so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure as of now. Yeah.
And our premier got on television today and started saying, "Oh, it's yesterday because it was 20 minutes ago, and now it's the day after." Anyway, he said, "Don't go out and socialize with your friends, or people will die."
Yeah, wow.
And that was the end of the speech. It was like a 1 minute speech talking about this, and this is going to be closed down. It's going to be this is phase 1, right? Next, they're going to be banning driving or leaving your house at all, and they've got
Yeah.
500 extra cops making sure nobody socializes. Right?
Fucking
And
hell, man.
we're still giving examples like one person went to a barbecue and everybody there got infected. One infected
Yeah.
person. And like,
Yeah.
in Victoria. So don't socialize at all. The Olympics have been cancelled this year, probably. By the looks of it. Australia's pulled out. Canada's pulled out. There's an IOC guy on TV right now who's about to give a speech. Cancellation
Yeah.
of the Olympic Games would destroy the Olympic dream of 11,000. Therefore, it is not on our agenda. IOC president just there on the news. But they're talking about 2021, maybe
Yeah.
postponing it.
Deferring it.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
the virus will have done its course.
Yeah. That's viable.
Flattening the curve is what it's all about, so that hospitals don't go nuts.
Yeah, well,
right?
no, absolutely. Yeah.
Because if everyone goes out and socializes and all gets a disease at the start, we've only got about 2,500 hospital beds with ICU capabilities to give oxygen and all that sort of shit to people in.
Do you reckon that the toilet paper panicking people jumped in first to try and get the virus on purpose first, so they would get in
like the measles? I don't know. Maybe
no,
it's good.
Like,
you'd have a better treatment now. Than you will
yeah. Just get in there now. Come on, go get it.
Yeah. And I think
walk outside and start licking the banisters in the public.
I think you get immunity in the same way that a vaccine gives you immunity after you've had it.
Yeah, but
after you've had the measles,
you've got some like hidden disease or something, man, and it just fucking kills you. Like,
have you been watching TV much?
No, actually,
what's
no.
the news?
I read the news every day, and just on the I read the digital news every day.
And all the podcasts you listen to, they'd be talking about it too.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I've heard. I listened to the Sam. I listened to the Sam Harris one. He's done two. His last two were about it. Because he was an advocate. He was an advocate for being serious about it when it first came out. When everyone was really like, "Oh, don't worry about it." Yeah. He was banging on about it, and then going, "No, this is bullshit. This is serious. Everyone's got to shut up and listen." And no one did. Well, not everyone did, especially people in Bondi. And no, there's heaps of people.
The Bondi Beach.
There's been heaps of incidences, and like it's not just there. It's like there's a lot of it going on. But I don't think everyone thinks it's as serious as what it is. And I don't even think like the public have the proper knowledge yet. The guys who are researching it probably have a much better idea than the public do it now. But there's no need to tell us all about it yet. They just want to find a way to sort it out. But I believe it's all happening day by day. You know, they're just still finding out the effects. Because how weird is it that children aren't affected, but then like some young fit people have killed over? You know, like it's not just 30s. Old, and then like the traditional one is old people and young people. You know, that's it. Like that's it. And so now it just seems like. But I think that was
carriers. We're not supposed to visit nursing homes anymore.
Yeah,
we're infected. Right, they're so vulnerable.
But I do remember SARS and MERS being similar as well. Like maybe not
it's
as
not shutting down like this, and the economy.
No, but I think there's a lot more social media panicking now as well. Like I reckon that's propped up.
This is bigger.
Oh, I think it is bigger. But
comparisons.
I think those ones were quite. I think those things were quite serious as well. Like they're similar diseases. No, I'm not
fearful at all.
I'm not doubting the seriousness of this one.
After hearing about those ones, I thought this one Corona was just another one on the list.
Well, that's what I kind of thought when it first came out as well.
Yeah,
I think that's what a lot of people thought, and that's what I think. You know what? It's amazing what you can just be told. You know, like listen to the radio.
It came out of a bat at the wet markets where they sell like
apparently
game like fucking stuff they've just caught in the forest or whatever.
Yeah,
in China,
yeah.
Province.
I've seen the video footage. It's horrible. Yeah.
But then it's sort of now it's big in Italy, and they've cleared the streets. They're all wearing masks. A lot of people, I think it's 5,000 people have died in Italy in the last 2 weeks.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, and it's just accelerating.
Do they count? Okay, even when you're old, like because when you're old, you've obviously got you may have several chronic diseases as well. You know,
as well.
And is it just the corona that just tops you off? You know, or is it what's the cause of it? Is it just that, or is it much more complicated?
Well, I can't remember exactly, but basically, this virus unleashes its DNA information into your lung milia, or what it's called, the little hairs inside your lungs.
And alveoli, is it?
I can't really tell.
Yeah.
But it basically injects its
Or might be
information
smaller than that,
and
yeah.
tells the
It's
body that
injecting
your
DNA.
lungs are basically a foreign object, sort of thing, or something like
Yeah,
that.
right. And it just causes
Yeah,
some kind
and it
of
spreads.
rejection.
Yeah, so your
Wow. Yeah,
body
that
sort of
sounds
rejects your
horrible, man.
lungs a bit, and
Yeah,
you
I
get
don't
this
want to.
growth.
So you basically die from like choking to death and
Yeah, but your immune system could
suffocating.
potentially be good enough to kill it, hopefully,
Mm.
and then it creates antibodies. So I
Yeah,
think basically what we should do, because little kids don't get it, but they're good carriers. They're all carrying it. Those little fucking shits, right? Get a
shitters.
whole bunch. You remember what we were talking about
Take
earlier
him
with
back
the
to
male
school.
chicks? We chuck them down into the
Weld the
blender
doors shut.
and
Oh.
just fucking inject ourselves with little children. So
Should we
immune.
dilute it first? We should dilute it first.
Fucking full on. Give me like all those school children, the
Heavy
most
dose.
snotty nosed ones. Give me them. They're fucking perfect.
We can put them in. We can put the rest in the chicken nugget machine.
That's what I mean. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
You could even have it as a snack. Just constantly eat that throughout the whole contagion fucking period.
You want heavy doses.
Yeah.
Heavy doses.
It's like that episode of South Park when Christopher Reeve goes around eating fetuses. You see that?
Oh yeah, man.
He becomes
I love
Superman.
South Park, man. Don't get me started talking about South Park. It's the funniest shit.
Love it.
Don't talk to me about the Kanye West episode either. That's the fucking funniest shit.
What happened with Kanye?
Oh, you want me to get into it?
Yeah, get into it.
He was the gay fish. No, we're not going to get into that.
I don't remember it.
The Kanye West, just you're going to have to Google it and watch it
Oh,
when we get off. Yeah,
right.
It's incredible.
It's the funniest one.
I'll screen share it with you after this. I'll watch it with you.
Cool.
Or do you want to watch it now? We can talk about it while we're watching it.
You could. I just sometimes worry about putting on stuff that other people have created because otherwise, you don't. Well, I mean, they'd air it, but then it'd have a link to their thing or whatever else, and then we can't, properly own it or something.
Okay, kids, there have been some hurtful and hateful things being said around this school, and so we're going to hear from a guest speaker. Here to explain why Kim Kardashian is not a hobbit, please welcome Aquaman.
That's right. Okay, first of all, I am not Aquaman. I am a recovering gay fish. Yes, I have met Aquaman. I have hung out with Aquaman. But the only thing I have in common with Aquaman anymore is my love for the sea.
You really need to see the whole episode to get all what's going on at the moment. This is way out of context.
Started at this elementary school that my beautiful fiance is a hobbit. That is not funny, and it is not true. All right? Yes, Kim is heavier than most of her pictures show her to be. Yes, she gets her hair lasered off her body. Yes, she has a friend named Gandalf who happens to be a wizard. I'm sorry, excuse me a minute. Bitch, how you not the hobbit again? Yeah, right. Yeah, okay, yep, let me, okay, yep, I got it. Okay, love you too.
Virgin Australia to reduce number of domestic flights due to border closures.
Yeah, all the borders are closed now.
What does that mean? Driving across the border is wrong. You get in trouble.
No. You've got to self-isolate for 14 days if you cross any borders.
How do I know? What if you live in Albury Wodonga?
Well, you've got to say where you live, and police will come and knock on your door, man. If you're not there, you'll get in fucking trouble. Oh, they're taking it pretty seriously.
I've got a fucking Bondi license.
I read well, I mean, obviously some people can't get caught, but that most people are trackable, so.
I just want to look at this information for you. The facts about coronavirus symptoms updates. State of emergency. The state of emergency has been declared in Victoria. That's my state. Giving the Chief Health Officer additional legal powers. I'm just going to click on that.
Ooh. Additional.
Yeah, they're carrying guns now, and if they didn't think you're going to survive, it's like, boom, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Incinerator beside every hospital bed. Make it easy. It's got a.
I heard they're going to send they're going to send torpedoes out to all the cruise ships as well.
Yeah, I love what you commented on your dad's video. It looks like there's more people coming in to try to land in Fremantle, like a ship full of diseased people. Yeah. And you said bomb that shit or something. That was very funny.
I was trying to cause stir.
Which is funny. Well, obviously, we're not condoning killing people with coronavirus.
No, but it was
spreads
always
the disease further. It just dissipates out of their body, especially with the pink mist that comes out. It sprays through their lungs and it all escapes. It's better if you suffocate them.
That was going to be my if I was going to be an evil genius. Well, I'm not evil or a genius, but if I was to be one, then getting
a reduction in the population. You were trying to solve the overpopulation last week.
You're trying to purge the population, man. Perfect. Get rid of everyone on cruise ships.
AIDS didn't do its job properly. It's down to the coronavirus now.
That's going to fucking sort the shit out, is it?
Well, you know what? I think I've heard, well, I don't know if it's true, but the Wuhan province area in China, apparently...
The Wu-Tang who?
Wuhan province is where it sort of originated, right? With the most amount of... But then Italy got more. So it's almost like everyone got the disease, and those
we don't know. It could be like Spanish flu, man. China might be trying to shift it because in 100 years they don't want it to be called the Chinese flu or the Wuhan flu.
So they're hiding the figures.
The Italian, and they're trying to trump up all the Italian deaths. They want it to be called the Italian flu.
So they say they've only had like 1,000 deaths, but really it's been like 100,000.
Yeah. They're just shifting the blame.
Just sweeping it under.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they're sick of being treated like shit from the rest of the world. They're like, no, fuck you.
But they've got, listen to this, I think it's 1.386 billion humans in China. And I think India's got 1.3.
Yeah, it's about similar.
So, so they're only 80 million off.
Only 80 million. Only 3 times our population.
In about 2 years, they might overtake China. So what I'm saying is, 1.382, whatever it is, billion, right? Yeah. At what point, at which decimal place is it in the hundreds of thousands?
What do you mean?
So the 1 is in the billions column. The 3 is the hundreds of millions column.
Yeah, the next...
8 is the tens of millions column. The 2 is in the millions of column. You need an extra decimal place after that to get to the hundreds of thousands. So
not even
their death rate, even if they've lost a couple of 100,000 people, that figure would still be 1.382.
So you reckon that the
it doesn't.
You reckon the commie parties just moving the decimal point? Is that their whole plan?
If you counted Chinese people properly, but nobody really knows how many there are. I think 1.382 billion. That could be just the people who are currently in the mainland.
1
billion, 382 million.
That's not the hundreds of thousands, the thousands. We're missing on the thousands.
No, we're missing the hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands. Then
because the hundreds of thousands, units. The one is the billion.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, and then what? The 3 is
300 million. 80 million.
That's 300.
2 million.
Oh yeah.
Then after that, the decimal places start for the hundreds of thousands.
Yeah. Wow. It confuses you with the whole billion thing.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
In most countries.
Holy shit. So, what's the population of America? Like 370. So they're pretty much China's got 1 billion, and then plus America.
Yeah. So 4 times. Is that 4 times? About 4 times America?
Yeah, 4 times America. Yeah, it's 4. It'd be pretty close to 4 times. Because 3.8 times, 5 times. 5 times.
And what's Brazil? Isn't that one of the leading?
3.8. Sorry, you said it. You were right. 4 times. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, if they lost a couple of 100,000 people, that figure, because nobody wants to count more than 3 decimal places, right?
No.
They don't worry about the fucking extra.
You can lose a few boxes in the census for sure, man.
Yeah, so
3 lots of mountains and bridges.
They've lost 200,000 or 300,000 people last week, so just into the mass grave they go. If they can fit, they probably just found a quarry that wasn't putting out enough uranium or something.
All of a sudden, there's plenty of jobs available.
No, there's plenty of transplant organs available. But before they had to rely, because in most countries it takes maybe 6 months to line up to get an organ transplant, but in China I think it takes 2 weeks.
Really? What? Because they just go get them?
Well, maybe it could be the death rate, but I've heard they do human farming. Like, there's people who stand in Hyde Park in Sydney and protest with their arms in the air. They're Falun Dafa religion followers or something, and they show pamphlets of how these people disappear and their organs are sold because the Chinese government allows for prisons to conduct a business of organ sales.
Yeah, I know. I've heard about that as well. I fucking hope that shit's not true. That's just
and I also hope
crazy shit.
Have you seen footage of how the chefs like to serve a fish that's still gasping and shit while they're eating it?
Yeah, man.
What kind of sick shit is that?
I've seen some pretty horrible stuff like that, man. Yeah, I'm not down with any.
If they don't care about any life, then they would potentially keep the people alive to keep the meat fresh and the organs fresh.
Yeah,
they've only taken a kidney. So how much money does it cost to just put an oxygen on that person's face? And anesthetic. And to pull out their vocal cords. You don't need the vocal cords. Shuck them away. Stop the screaming, right?
Fuck.
Don't want to waste anesthetic. It might infect stuff, right? The only time you want to
that's horrible.
Put chemicals through a body is when you're tearing a dog's legs apart and strangling it and lighting it on fire, so that the adrenaline from the fear and the absolute torture
my God
makes the meat taste. Fucking pricks.
Yeah, well, dude, yeah. Well, that's
fucks, man. And they're the people who've got the wet markets. That's caused the coronavirus. The fucking assholes.
Yeah, I saw a video the other day of someone walking through. I believe it was the Wuhan mark. I don't know. That's what it was marked as, and it was fucking disgusting, man. There was dead dogs on top of cages. And there was live dogs in the cages, just sitting there, confused, looking around, what the fuck's going on.
Well, they're pretty smart dogs, man. They'd know.
And they had their brother or sister or whatever was dead and bleeding on the ground in front of it, on offer for sale, because they wouldn't want to kill more than one dog at a time. It's got to be fresh. Yeah.
Barbaric. That's what happens if you have that many people.
Yeah, well,
you just don't care about life anymore. It's just
I think it's
get out of my way.
It's so cold. It's so
they're polite. They're so polite,
culture.
Though, so it must be.
No, I don't. The Chinese aren't. In my experience, most of the Chinese are not polite. Actually, in public, I don't know when they're in a friendly situation. Absolutely, when I've been introduced to them, yes, very polite.
Yeah.
But when I've had instances in public, very rude, and I think they're rude to each other as well. It's not just
in crowd situations. Unless you know somebody.
Yeah, any Chinese person I've ever been introduced to, it's been absolutely lovely. Yeah, exactly the same as any other person I've ever met from any other race, whatever. And that's a general rule, I think.
But a person in a crowd, get the fuck out of my way.
I've been pushing. You get all the little old Chinese ladies, and they try and sneak and push in all the lines.
Yeah,
and they go do, and then they just sort of stand there and they eyeing you out the corner to see if you've noticed. And I notice every time. I'm like, you fucking weren't there before.
Yeah. This happened in Nepal as well. I was very surprised because Nepalese people are absolute angels, right? From the Himalayas and everything.
Angry. Holy shit.
Yeah. You've worked with some chefs from Nepal and stuff.
Nepalese guys are the best workers, eh? Best workers I've ever worked with.
But they're totally
such hardworking
and genuine.
They're all so skinny and bony. But fuck, they're all so strong, man. I wouldn't want to fight any Nepalese guys ever.
My Sherpa, they can survive.
Yeah.
They don't need to adjust, acclimatize to avoid acute mountain sickness.
They've always been
carry heaps of shit, man.
They've always been the best workers I've ever worked with. In general,
but the manners of, I guess it could be to do with poverty. For a start off,
it's very religious. No.
They pray to Buddha like a god. It's a different type of Buddhism.
Mate, I know a couple of
him as just a prince who was just threw away all the possessions.
It's incredible. Yeah, their dedication is so incredible. I know a couple of Nepalese swear words. Ones that you're not supposed to say to Nepalese people. And when I work in the a restaurant with a Nepalese guy, I'll always, get to know him a bit first, and then I'll just say it and just see the reaction, and they always look at you and they go, "What'd you say?"
Yeah.
And then and I know they're really because it'd be like, okay, if I went to a French restaurant, like a French guy come here and he's like, he learned you fucking wanker for the first time, and he'd be like, yeah, it was so funny, everyone's like, oh, looking around a bit, whatever.
Mm.
But you say to the Nepalese guy, and he'll be like, it's almost like you're pranking him, and he's like looking around to make sure there's no other Nepalese guys around, and then he'll go, ha ha ha, yes.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Well, good pronunciation.
And then because I worked in a couple of places where there's been several of them, and then there was one where a girl was working there, and I was saying it to the guys, and they're just getting used to it over the first couple of days, and they actually went nuts with it. They couldn't stop saying it after I'd said it. It was this, I got a bit fucking bored of it.
The French are quite inventive with their swearing. They say face de moule, which means you have a face of a muscle, as in
yeah, like a fanny,
like a vagina. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they've got va te faire poutre, tu sale pute. That means go fuck yourself, you dirty whore. Right.
Yeah,
but they use putain.
Oh,
that's the swear word.
Did you say feels the pute at the end of that? What's up?
Tu sale pute.
Oh, tu sale pute. What's
you
feels
dirty
the pute?
sale, dirty pute. It's short for putain, whore.
Yeah, but what's feels the pute? I've heard that one.
Face. What did I say? Va te faire poutre. No, va te faire foutre. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Go.
I can't speak French. I memorize swear words in as many languages as I can, and I always get them wrong after that.
Give me some swear words.
Sus ma bit salop.
Yeah, that's good. Salop is another word for whore. So,
bitch.
Whore. Bit is
French bit. Suck my dick.
Yeah.
Suck my dick. Yeah. Sus ma bit salop. Suck my dick, bitch.
That's good.
Yeah.
Salop. Maybe salop is bitch.
Yeah, I think salop is bitch.
And
whore or something.
But they say putain like when they drop something on their foot. That's their main.
Putain is actually putain is the Portuguese as well. I work with the Brazilian guys.
Yeah.
And they don't have many swear words. It's always putain. That's it. And you can add putain you or putain that or putain that. But it's because I've asked them for some more.
They don't say futre. They don't say fuck.
Yeah, they just say putain. I think putain in
and they say tu m'encules.
Portuguese is fuck you.
They say tu m'encules or tu m'embêtes. It means you are fucking you're fucking my brain or something, like you're annoying me.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, right?
Fucking French.
Encule, I think that means sodomiser. It's like encule. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if that means just I think encule might mean sodomiser, like sodomize.
Sodomizing.
Fucking else. I think that's what they're referring to in the Bible. The Sodomites. Sodom and Gomorrah.
Well, the Sodomites just a bunch of choir boys in that case.
I think so. They started the whole thing. And from their priesthood.
An army of adolescent boys that just rocked up in cloaks.
Well, it's just Sodom and Gomorrah. It was just causing havoc. And just Noah. I think that was the days of Noah. And he had to.
They line up. They wouldn't all turn over and they wouldn't all bend over at the same time. They'd do it in lines. Just one
It's like everybody's doing a brand new dance now.
Yeah, one platoon at a time. Yeah. Well, there would have been more flutes and stuff, I reckon.
Is that the instrument of the day?
I'm not sure, but it sounds. Platoon 1, come forward. Of the Sodomites. Sodomites 1.
What was the deal? Oh yeah, I think it was. Who was the guy who went? Was it Job and his wife Rachel or something? And he commanded that they stop their incestuous ways, and then his wife.
Who? He commanded who? They all lived around the corner from each other anyway, didn't they?
Oh man, there's so much amazing stuff in the Bible. There was a story about how a woman was commanded by her husband,
of course,
to fucking. Oh, that's right. That's right. These men were knocking on the door, and they were I think, Sodomites, and they wanted to
They
fuck.
wouldn't have been men then. They would have been.
They wanted-
they were the Sodomitarians, or because they would have obviously you can't be a Sodomite. You wouldn't be a big. Okay, maybe you are. I don't know.
Anyway, there's a main character who's the good guy, right? According to the Bible, he's a good guy, right?
And he's in the house with the wife
He's in the house, but the wife doesn't get a mention until afterwards because
until
these
he
guys are
commands her to do
here.
something.
Open the
wanted to
door.
stamp.
We want to rape your guest, who's a male,
okay.
right? And he
Okay.
says, no, don't rape my friend. And this is like a
Okay.
parable that I think Jesus might have
don't
taught.
do
Not
it.
in the Old
Yeah,
Testament.
stop.
This is the time
Stop
of
it,
wrath. It
guys.
was the Old Testament. He said,
Yeah.
no, don't rape my wife. Don't rape my guest. Here, rape my wife instead.
Oh,
And so his guest was
so he
spared.
was
And
being
so
nice.
they ravaged her, and
Oh,
then
he wanted
she
to keep
came
the
back
guest fresh.
knocking on the door, unclean, right?
Okay.
And then the angel of God appeared and smote her, so
Yeah, of
she
course.
burned for eternity
Dirty
for being
slut.
unclean and returning
What
to
a
the house to
dirty
try to
slut.
uncleanse the house or something, right?
But the guest was fresh still.
Yeah,
So
the guest was fine. So
when all the
he
other
now
fellas
learned
left,
to listen.
when all the other guys
went
left,
to others.
he was free to get with the freshness. Is that
Crazy
the
shit, man.
point of the story? Or
I think the freshness is like there's an ad in the Bible about like Febreze or something.
maybe that was an ad. Actually, maybe that
an
wasn't
ad.
part of the Bible. That was an ad.
They should just take old Bible stories and make them into ads. That should be. Oh, they did that with the Doors, you know.
Imagine how much trouble.
Baby, you can light my fire. I think of a Jiffy firelight or something.
Light my fire. Burn witches.
But there's one thing, like Job was told by God that, all right, just tell them, change their ways, or they will
So
burn.
God, okay.
And
Did
they send out
God,
these
in the Bible, like when God talked to these guys in the Bible, did he actually rock up and say this shit, or was it like when they were sleeping and they
No,
like,
it was just
dreamt it?
this
or was it
guy
like an
said
afternoon
that God
thought?
told him.
It was
Well,
an
obviously
afternoon
it's
thought.
true because he said it. He said, if you say that God has spoken to you, it's
Yeah.
true. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you're an unbeliever and you're a blasphemer and you deserve to be
Absolutely.
burned
I
at
just
stake.
wonder, like, would it be like, are you sitting next to the river and then, like, can you hear the voice? Like, say there was someone. I'm sure that other people wouldn't be close because God
Look at
wouldn't be that
Joseph
silly
Smith.
to talk
Yeah.
when someone else was there.
Clear as
But
daylight.
Say if someone snuck up, say God was halfway through on one log, right, and he just didn't realize that someone else was sneaking up, would they both be able to hear it, or is he just standing there, just thoughting it into the person?
He's
that he
thoughting
wants
it.
to?
No, God thoughts things to people. That's how else is he going to communicate? He's just like he's that microchip black dude in the nothing that we were talking about. And he's going, nah. So basically, any of these people who are saying they're hearing the mind of God, they are a leaf, as you and I are, just as a little like fucking creature with its independent, locked out mind, who's accessed back through to the trunk, who is actually the one we all are, the stem, the God, the being, the Zen,
God,
the Krishna, the everything, right?
as in there's only one. Are they all? Or are they all one? Or are they all together? Are they all?
We are one. So if I say I hear the trunk talking to me, it's simply because I've heard back through the branch, or the trunk has decided to send a signal down through its branch and into me as the leaf. I'm just like an innocent little leaf being blown away around by the breezes of fate, whatever.
Okay.
And God just goes, boom, that's what I want you to do. Kill those fuckers. And turn that stick into a snake while you're at it. And so...
what about...
how's this? Moses, what a punishment. He took all the Israelites and saved them from Egypt, from slavery and all that shit, with the frogs falling from the sky and the locusts and the stick snake.
For that.
He parted the seas.
Or just
you know
afterwards.
What? When they were all complaining and whinging, going, we haven't anything to eat. We're starving in the desert. This isn't the milk and honey you promised us, right?
Let's go back to slavery.
God said, all right, the people are obviously fucking whinging because they haven't had water for 10 days, right? All right, so fucking I told them to shut the fuck up, but they can't hear me, can they? Only you can hear me, Moses, all right? So this is what's going to happen. I want you to speak to this rock.
Echo voice.
I want you to speak to this rock, right? And so Moses was can barely move. All right.
He had no water.
Instead,
did he get no water? Did Moses stash water?
No. Well, the rock was going to give the water because God's commanded this, right? But first of all, Moses needs to ask the rock.
Would it be
easy? Would it be an inconvenience
or something?
Yeah. Can we have some water, please, rock? But he didn't. You know what he did instead? He tapped the rock with the staff. Maybe he was out of. Moses had a bit of a stuff or stutter anyway, so it would have been. It was, fuck it. He smashed it. He hit the rock with the stick, and then water gushed forward, and everybody drank. Right, and then nearly at the place of Israel, the land of Israel, with the milk and honey, which is basically just in the middle of the fucking desert.
Israel didn't exist back then, did it?
It
did. It came
that's
and went.
where they were headed.
And then it's back again.
It was named after somebody called Israel. I can't remember who that was exactly.
The Israelites. There was the Israelites. Must have been named after them.
Yeah. Well, maybe
they were next to the dominatrixes. Oh no, it was the Sodomites. Sorry.
The thing is, right, when Moses hit it with the rock, he'd broken God's commandment. And so God said, I told you to fucking ask the rock, not hit it with a stick. Right? He fucking damned Moses.
What if he couldn't talk? He was so fucking thirsty.
And he was not.
He was using like a sign language with the fucking stick.
If God tells you to fucking do something, you fucking do it to the letter, all right? It's not like thou shalt not kill with one L, is it? Anyway, so Moses...
Depends what language. I'm sure there's a fucking word kill in some language that means that same thing.
That first Moses, that entire universe was burned and discarded.
I'm pretty sure they didn't have fucking English then. How did they spell kill back then?
I don't know how to speak Aramaic or whatever the fuck it was. Was it Egyptian? Arabic? It would have been Arabic, wouldn't it?
Hebrew?
I don't know if they spoke Hebrew. Maybe they spoke in a different language, the Hebrew language. And
there surely would have been like Old Testament, New Testament, like the newer version of the Bible would have been different language to the old one, wouldn't it? They were like, how long apart were they? Like 1,000 years? Old Testament shit?
Oh, yeah. The
Old Testament to New Testament? Yeah, that's like 1,000 years apart?
Yeah. Sorry.
That probably would have been a different language.
These scrolls would have been in a different language, probably, wouldn't they?
Fucking scrolls.
I'm
sure they lost heaps of scrolls.
I think what happened with
scrolls fell off the back of the cart.
Those things started getting written about 30 years or something after he died or something, and people were just writing.
The New Testament did, yeah. Letters to Paul. I'm pretty sure he was the first one.
Okay.
It was like 30 years after Jesus' death. Yeah. So he would have known him pretty well.
He'd been 60 by then. I'm starting to write. That's old for that time.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Whatever. The fact is that he started writing him 30 years after the death. He would have known exactly what he was talking about.
33 years old. That's about old man age, isn't it? At those times. Nearly time for the grave already. Anyway.
Well, no, we forgot about all the dirty children that died in the the ones that weren't baptized yet that are living in hell now. All the little babies.
Yes, they are filthy, and they are in purgatory.
They fucked out the averages. They're not only little shits that are burning in hell now for the last
but they weren't
at least 2,000 years. No, they're little fucks.
And it wasn't specified in the Bible what happened to them. And so apparently about 10 years ago from today, or what was it, I think the cardinals all got together in the Vatican City and they decided we need to amend this. What do you reckon's going on with the babies who weren't christened yet and they die? It's like purgatory. They're floating.
I reckon the reason they don't want us to use stem cells now is because they worked it out, right? When you get dead shit babies, when you get those little shit cunt babies, you can inject them with special stem cells that just grow them up to only be 12 years old. And that's it. They stop growing at that age. And that's how they make the Sodomites army.
Perfect. No pubes.
No. And they've got the high voices. So when they want to go sing in church, they can go sing about God and sing about the cardinals and all that sort of stuff.
Yummy.
And nice, a perfect voice. You know that voice that you want? You know that the kind of voice you'd cut someone's balls off?
that sort of voice that takes, they've got a nice, tight little asshole.
That kind of voice. Yeah, exactly.
Fucking hell, man.
Exactly.
I mean, all priests aren't the same, right? They're not like just a whole bunch of fucking pedophiles.
No,
we exaggerating. I mean, if you're
it's like
having a wank to Facebook or something.
Priests are like the coronavirus of pedophiles. There's like a high percentage of them, and they're very infectious. It'd be like at least 7%, and then when they get caught, they just they migrate. It's like a big sneeze. There's like a Vatican sneeze, and they go, and they sneeze them out to the other parishes.
This is a weird thing, right? If priests,
it's a 1-to-3 ratio. It's the 1-to-3 ratio, isn't it? Bang, 1, 1, 2, 3. There you go. See you later, little boys. Come and sing for me.
What's the 3 about?
Isn't that like the infectious rate of the coronavirus? You know, I've
He's
seen
saying-
all the photos on Facebook, all those fucking, it's funny, man. Half of my friends on Facebook, turns out, like, know all about disease. It's incredible. I didn't even know. It's like,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sitting
amazing.
there, like, for the last 15 years on Facebook thinking I've just got an average bunch of mates. But turns out,
Everyone's got an
some
opinion about those
fucking
coronavirus.
geniuses, man. Like, it's incredible. Yeah.
Well, the one thing I reckon they need to do is fix the home delivery for shopping. I don't want to go back there. Nobody else does either.
I'm on it. I'm on
But
it.
they've shut
That's my
down
plan.
home. They've shut down home delivery.
No, but my plan is to me and a couple of the boys, we're gonna make like we're gonna, because all the kitchens are closed, right? So a couple of us at a time in each kitchen, we're gonna go hire out a kitchen and make like long-term food items for people. It's like coronavirus food, like curries and chicken soups and
This has
shit
got to
like
last
that.
at least a year, right? And what about the
No,
weapon
no.
stashes?
You get anywhere between 1 day and a 7-day pack.
That's the main topic I wanted to speak to you about today. How long do you think this is going to last, and will the zombies kill us all after they rise from the dead? And what weapons do we need?
Rise from the dead, then we're all gone. Well, I've got a machete. I reckon that's the best because you can't run out of bullets with a machete.
That's true, but you've got to be in close proximity. So
I've
while you're
seen-
slicing one, another one's grabbing you by the shoulder and biting your neck. So what do you do about that?
Well, he's got a machete as well.
Well, no, I think they're eating my brains, right? I don't.
Look, I've seen all the zombie movies, man.
Have you seen
We're
Walking
pretty
Dead?
covered. How I have, yeah.
I'm watching that at the moment, and the one thing I can't understand, right?
Yeah.
Why are they all intact? Okay, and the
Because
other thing
you're
is,
probably only in the first season. You're probably only in the first season.
no, I'm about season 9 now. Okay, so this is the
Well,
thing.
okay.
No, what I'm saying is,
Because there are new ones. There are new ones as they go along.
I
as well,
know,
but just
but
less.
let me ask you this: in what
Yeah.
way does a person who's not a zombie die from a zombie? Let me ask you that.
In The Walking Dead.
In any zombie ideology, what's going on? How do they die from a zombie? They get eaten. So why are they intact when they're in a zombie?
Beaten. They get beaten. And
No,
a
they
bit of
get
blood
eaten.
comes out.
No, they get eaten. The zombies are hungry.
Some of them get eaten. Yeah, but that can't.
Okay, I've got this new theory now that I just thought about it, right? So
Some of them get mauled.
if a zombie eats a human, you start off all with bite marks and chunks missing out of you from the time you died, from being bitten and eaten and teared to pieces, right?
Yeah.
Your guts are pulled out, shit. But if you eat a live human, it regrows.
Yeah. Okay.
That's got to be the way it's gone. I mean, how else are they all intact and not chewed?
Because it's a movie.
Well, I'm just wondering. The only reason I'm asking is because the coronavirus.
But no, I agree.
We've got to know.
No, but it has to be like they have to. Yeah. But you know what? In The Walking Dead, what I did appreciate was from the first season to the last season. Each season, they did on average decay more and more.
Yeah, that's good.
But as the time went on, they got heavier and heavier with the zombie outfits. Like in the first one, they were all quite fresh.
Yeah.
And if you look at like an episode from season 1 and then an episode from season 6, like back to back, then you'll see like a big difference.
It can see through their
They
face,
did it slowly,
like jaws and shit.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
I agree. Like after how many years, they're going to be fucked. And
but why are they closed still?
in
I'm thinking if you've got a belt around your waist, right? When you're this fat, once you lose a bit of flesh, your belt's not going to hang. Why aren't there doodles hanging out and shit?
Well, maybe the tasty
hands should have fallen off. Bits. See, that's a funny thing because if you know that bit means dick in French, so yeah, their clothes shouldn't be on.
You know what? We can't explain zombies because what about 28 days later? How do you explain that?
I love that movie. I can't remember it though.
Fucking great movie, man.
Is it when they run? Do they run?
That's when they're really fast. And they
you don't want to fast zombie.
They do not stop running. They do not stop running, and they all run in packs if they can form packs. Yeah, that's scary shit.
if you can just cover yourself with zombie guts so they can't smell or detect that you're alive, why not just wear that all the time?
I think I've seen that in.
Why not just get an
Maybe it
outfit?
was
If you
Zombie
want,
Nation or something.
if you find a safe place in a caged off zone, take off the smelly shit because it smells like dead ass, right?
That'd be horrible. Wouldn't be nice.
But then when you want to go down the shops and see if you can scavenge or whatever, some extra baked beans that might have been hidden.
Would you risk having a shower with a bit of soap? You know, like, I don't know. It wouldn't be very fun. I reckon you want a fortress so where you can have showers.
Well, I think they have solar panels and stuff in the latest hilltop in town that we've got going on stuff, and you know, they've got plantations and things. But they've got to grow their food now.
Yeah.
And
No, I've seen it all. It's been a while since I've seen
farming and stuff.
I always get confused as well because it's what is it? Zombie Nation or Nation Z or something? Or Z Nation. Z Nation. That's a good one too.
Yeah, where they all climb on top of each other to get over a wall.
Nation. No. That's Zombie Nation. That's the movie. But there's a season, like it's like 6 seasons as well. It's like Walking Dead, but it's It's almost the same. There's almost like mirror characters. Like they've got like the dude and the chick. Like there's the black chick with the sword.
It's a bit addictive to watch zombie stuff.
Oh, it's great. I love it.
Sometimes you just don't want the storylines to get all like drama with the backdrop of zombies. It's just boring. Relationship.
You just want to see it. No, but the zombies need to get more intense. The situations have got to get more intense, though.
But I want there to be like we've only looked at America in The Walking Dead. I'm not like season 10 has come and gone.
Yeah,
you can get it if you go to the Microsoft store and download movies /2019 / and that gives you an app which allows you to just live stream all the movies and everything without having to go to the website. And you can just pay $6.50 or something, and then it turns off all the ads.
Ah, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Right. So we're all about to die. So this could be our final podcast.
Possibly. No, I don't think yet. It'll be a slow, painful death. We've got a while.
How long do you reckon we got?
Slow and painful. 18 months. We're all fucked.
No, 18 months and we're all in the clear. Isn't it like the time?
Oh.
Okay, let me ask you this, right? Their forecast with a graph that they showed on the news today.
I've seen so many
April
graphs.
12 to 13 or something. Or I can't remember what it was. Somewhat early in April, which is in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They are going to reach a critical point where the ICU in intensive care units in hospitals will be too full to take any more patients.
Fuck. Yeah.
And I think in Italy they've already reached that point where there are not enough, I think. And they've got to turn back people. They've got to triage and say,
I heard Chloe said something about that. Like, basically, if you're really, really old and you're already sick, then they're not going to treat you. You're dead.
That's what happened in the 1918 Spanish flu situation. And half the calls for ambulances didn't get answered because there was too many. And it was a big problem with bring out your dead, da-ding, right? That was like the Black Plague and Black Death.
I've seen the Monty Python.
And the other thing is we are about to potentially have a worldwide depression if the virus isn't enough.
Yeah.
We just got
it'll be the catalyst for it.
There was 95,000 people trying to access the Centrelink website yesterday, and but it could only cope with 55,000. So they thought this spike was a hacker trying to put too many requests in, right? And it crashed.
The Prime Minister actually, the Prime Minister actually last night closed all the restaurants in Australia. That's what happened.
Yeah, and so everyone in Centrelink had to just go on the dole.
Well, everyone who doesn't have a job has got to go on the dole, and they want to get in straight away. You want to get in straight away, man. You don't want to wait weeks, man. Well, people have got to pay rent. You can't wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
People
you got to get it straight away.
Their fucking rent. They're gonna be homeless, but There's going to have to be this stimulus
Oh, no,
package.
there'll be intervention. There'll be intervention. People won't be allowed to be kicked out of their homes.
No,
shit
yeah,
like
exactly.
that. Like
That's right. Yeah.
there'll be rent reductions.
Yeah.
They'll let.
Yeah, but
they'll
what if
let
you're a
the people who
landlord
are-
and you're depending on that money?
Well, they'll defer loan payments to the banks.
So the banks will go bust. So all my money in the bank, just take it out and put it in a mattress right now.
Mate, the banks get fucking propped up, man, by the government anyway, man. There's nowhere. They're not going anywhere.
The value of cash can actually decline to the point that it becomes toilet paper.
I know that. Yeah, well, no, but they're not going to. That's if you print money.
Well, what's the situation?
Government's not printing money. Well, we're going to either borrow money or inject whatever money we got into the economy.
From which country?
So, anyone, man.
They're all gone down.
Everyone's got money. There's always money to borrow. I don't even know where because it seems like everyone's in debt. It's weird. There must just be like a few dudes who live on islands.
Imagine if this was the catalyst to get rid of money, so no money actually mattered and everyone was down to zero. Everyone's on an even playing field. The only thing that you can own is like tangible land. But if a bunch of guys who are starving to death and they've just broken a couple of windows after stealing a loaf of bread because they were hungry, went, you know what, there's another easy to break window, we'll take that television as well. They're not going to be complaining when they've got like 15 dudes with fucking the best weapons that they've just stolen from the next shop along, right? To take whatever the fuck they want from anybody. Give me that ice cream, kid. No, I want the ice cream. No, take the fucking, right? Take his liver, right? Make some foie gras out of that kid's liver. Oh, man. I just don't know how far this is going to go. Hospitals overloading, the dead filling the streets, people in apartments dead around us, we don't even know. Kids becoming orphans.
The one thing I'm afraid of is violence kicking off. I mean, I think we're kind of cool in Australia, but there's some countries, man. I'm worried about my wife's family in Thailand. Like, you know, she could just kick off in a day and that just escalates. She can escalate so quickly. So
and the police can't control that many people.
Well, once it gets to us, man, if the population revolts, man, like, well, I don't even know what they're revolting at, but they're revolted at each other, it seems, you know? Everyone hates each other. Look at the supermarkets. It's crazy shit.
What's going to happen to the internet when everybody's doing the remote education for all the school kids? They'll need to be, like, maybe switched on the whole time, all through the day. Plus, every business in Australia is going to need to have remote office staff.
Yep.
Fully connected with the conference. And you can see how much lag we're getting from the amount of data we're having to send over the internet with this conversation. Imagine everybody doing this.
Yeah, we haven't. It's 1:30 in the morning. We haven't had this problem before like this.
Yeah, but imagine there's going to be like thousands of us.
Yeah,
hundreds of thousands of us.
Yeah.
So you got weapons? You got weapons? You ready?
Yeah, man. Yeah, ready? I've got my shit. I don't have my guns anymore. I wish I had my guns. Anyway.
So have you stockpiled some food or something? Toilet paper?
Oh man, I'm just not crazy. I haven't been able to get toilet paper. We've got some. Ploy got some on the weekend.
That's good. Where'd she find that?
I don't know. One of the supermarkets. I think they just got there when a pallet.
People are driving out to towns to try and get stuff now. Because I went to the supermarket this morning. Most things were not available. Like any specials were gone. I mean, I'm complaining. It's a third world kind of complaint here. But there was definitely no toilet paper.
No, that's
There's
right.
definitely no peanut butter, Ribena.
But everything will come back, man. It's just supply lines are just lagging because everyone's panicked. But it'll come back.
And a few people die and there's less hoarding going on.
Less people buying toilet paper. Yeah.
They won't need to wipe their asses when they're dead. I'm sorry to be so abrupt about death, but fuck.
Yeah,
what people we know are probably going to die. I've heard Buckingham Palace. Imagine if the Queen just died of coronavirus. It's going to start happening. Kenny Rogers died a couple of days ago. Not of coronavirus. Yeah. The Gambler was the first song I learned off by heart.
Yeah, wow. I didn't even hear about that.
Well, you're going to hear a lot about famous people dying soon, I think. I just hope this has been exaggerated. It's just like that SARS and what did you say, the Mia?
Yeah. I hope so too, but it doesn't seem like that, does it? Like it's like
they'll shut everything down. Let's cancel the Olympics.
An order of magnitude more panic than what there was for that. No. So yeah.
Anyway, on that note, you sound tired.
Yeah, man. Maybe we should wind it down, man.
All right, we'll say goodnight. This is Peas on a Pod.
Yeah, we'll have plenty of time. So we're all in lockdown, so we might have some nightly events coming up.
Yeah. And so this is we're back in history at the point before Armageddon. We're just at the very start of it now. I didn't mean okay. I mean the very start.
It'll be like in about eight or 10 episodes time. It'll be panic. It'll be like,
like half our faces have been bitten off and shit. We're like, yeah.
This painting will be ripped up and.
All right, I'll try to compile this and edit as little as possible. Hopefully, it'll be split down the middle with me on one side and you on the other side. Because at the moment, I'm just seeing you as a tiny circle and I'm big on the screen, on my own screen. I can't even change it. Anyway, good night.
All right, cuz. Good night. Mwah. See ya.